Top of the Scots podcast, your one-stop shop for stories of Scottish sporting success.
Kind of in my second year of high school, I was approached by a PE teacher that said, "Do you want to attend the Para Pathway event?" Because they were made aware of my situation with having cerebral palsy. And then we kind of got into football, and that was a sport I loved. Always wanted to play it. And kind of at the end of that session, I was asked if I wanted to attend Scotland training. This is me now.
This is Top of the Scots, the podcast that hears from UWS graduates at the top of their game.
So obviously, needless to say, that would have been a difficult time. How much of a part did football play in kind of helping you in that time?
Yeah, it was massive. I think it kind of gave me a bit of normality because it was something that I could just go and play with my friends. But like I said, as I kind of got older, the gap in terms of technical and physical ability kind of widened. So I kind of took a period of maybe 18 months, and I kind of really I struggled with football. But then when I got back into that sport, it kind of allowed me to understand that everything is okay, and I found my love for football again.
And talk to me about the process of getting into parasport and kind of how you climbed the ranks in that game.
So, like I said, I went to a Scottish Disability Sport Para Pathway event in second year. We played football, and at the time it was a Scotland coach that kind of approached me and said, "Would you like to come along?" I wasn't really, I'll be honest, I wasn't really thinking anything of it. And I kind of went along. They were situated at Stirling Albion at the time, and I was probably, I think I was one of the youngest players there, so I was in the development squad, and I was there. I've kind of just kind of transitioned my way through. We kind of had a break due to funding, and a bit of our funding got cut, so we had to take a wee break, but we've returned, and I've continued playing since sixth year in high school. So yeah.
Yeah. And obviously through that Scotland team you went on to win the IFCPF Championship, and you were the captain MVP. Can you tell me about that, how much that meant to you?
Yeah, no, it was a massive achievement. I think we were the first Scottish national team to win a major trophy. We spent a lot of time evaluating our performances from last championships, like the Worlds and the European Championships, where we came second last. So we kind of had a sit down in front of all of us and kind of thought, right, well, what can we do? The only thing we can do is improve, and that's when our new manager, William McAdam, came in. He was at the time the goalkeeping coach, but then the structure of the behind the scenes kind of changed. So our manager, Greg Taylor, moved up to the heel or so, and Billy came in, and he basically just set out to say, this is all we want is to improve, and it's fair to say that it does improve.
Yeah, so your past losses played quite a big part in your development. So in the future then, how will you learn from the championship going forward?
I think it's about bringing in a stable structure to the team and consistently developing our areas of development. I think we always need to continue to strive for improvement. We're never going to achieve perfection, but we can always strive for our greatness, and that's something that Billy, our manager, always says to us. So we've just always got to improve, whether it be significant improvements or the smallest of improvements, it's still improving.
Yeah. And speaking of development there, is there any way that you see improvement for parasport as a whole?
I think in terms of parasport, it's something that can always be improved upon. In terms of funding, everything can be it's a level playing field. You know, we are set out to be, we represent our countries at the end of the day. You know, we set out to be the best that we can, and that's all that people can ask for us. I think it's a great showing that the Paralympics are set on the same stage as the Olympics, and again, it's just a case of how can we develop funding, how can we make sure that we're consistently being able to attend all the championships.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned there the Paralympics. Would that be a natural next step for your sports pursuit?
No, I would love to go to the Paralympics. It's probably been when I first got into parasport. I wasn't sure, but it'd be great to say that I went to a Paralympics. Para football's currently not on the sports list for the Paralympics, so it's maybe a case of right, how do we get it back in there? And then it's probably a step closer to being able to attend it. It's just a case of, like I said, it's about being able to enhance my areas of development. Fitness, obviously I've got a few things. I've got work as well, and I've got my degree that I need to obviously complete, so it's about being able to balance those as well.
Speaking of, how do you go about balancing all those three things? Is there a certain process that you...
Probably more so in terms of in my undergraduate, I probably had experienced it a wee bit more. Luckily, when I've been attending international friendlies in this academic year, they've been over the weekend, so I've been able to kind of do that without approaching the university. But when I went to the World Championships in 2022, I kind of had to approach my lecturer at the time. I think it was Laura Carey and Duncan Buchan, and the university as well, to say, listen, this is the situation, and they kind of agreed that this is probably the best thing. I'm also in the sports scholarship at the UWS scholarship award, and they were able to kind of adjust the timelines for my assessments and work. So it was a good balance, and that's probably the best thing for people who are actively competing at international level to probably be endorsed by the sports scholarship scheme.
Yeah, speaking of the sports scholarship scheme, talk me through kind of what that scheme's about, that process.
Yeah, so it's basically just the university are actually very good, and they provide us with funding, whether it be for equipment. For me, it's more so like physiotherapy. My cerebral palsy, the root cause of it is increased spasticity within the muscles, so I will attend more physiotherapy sessions, or I might football boots, whatever it may be. It's something that will help me to go to my tournaments, but then they also provide us with extra, specifically during undergrad, it was personal training sessions, and then they were able to, like I said, offer support when it came to attending tournaments, so they were able to adjust my timetable, so to speak. So it was good.
Moving on from the kind of player angle and onto the coach angle, how have you enjoyed being a coach relative to being a player?
I think on both stances you need to go, whether you're a player or a coach, you need to bring enthusiasm to the table, and that's something that I really enjoy doing, is seeing kids improve. It might just be, like I said, regardless of the size of improvement, it's about those minimal or extensive improvements. And it's fair to say, within my work, I work from a local council, and you see these kids that come along weekly, I can fairly say that they have had substantial improvements since the time that I've had them.
Yeah, and just the same question I asked you about how much football has helped them, you would say that football helps these kids as much as it helped you?
Yeah, I think as well, like for me, football was something that didn't just help me technically, it helped me to speak to people with similar life experiences. And that's something that was a big factor for me. If I was going through maybe a tough time in terms of maybe struggling a wee bit, whatever it may be, they were able to kind of provide me with support, and that's where communication skills, leadership skills come in, and you see that when I'm coaching. I kind of, yes, it's good that they might be able to shoot or dribble or pass, whatever it may be, but the root cause of it is, like, can they build the life skills necessary to move on in later life? So I think that's probably a better reward at the end of the day.
Of course. I'm going to go back and talk about your IFCPF Championship. So obviously you've won it. Can you talk me through the kind of process from start to finish of like the first few games to the final?
Yeah, so we first played in Northern Ireland, and kind of leading up to that, the World Championships, it was a lot of preparation. I can't probably say thank you, and it was a great effort from Billy McAdam, the manager. At the time, he put a lot of things in place to be able to go and go there as the best we can. So we were kind of fighting fit, and we were really sharp, all of us. And we kind of played, we beat Northern Ireland 3-0 I think in the first game, and then we went on to play teams like South Korea, Chile, and who else? I can't remember. But we went on, and it was fair to say that we were quite comfortable, but that was because of the preparation that we put in. Especially from the European Championships the year previous, we kind of, it was a big wake up call, you know, and that's something that we don't want to happen again. You know.
You mentioned that name, Billy McCann there. Would it be fair to say that he's kind of been a big role model in your kind of sporting journey? Yeah,
for the short time I've known Billy McAdam, he's been an exceptional mentor to me, not only as a coach but as a person. He's somebody that brings a lot of experience to the table as well. He was a goalkeeper in his youth with Stenhousemuir, and then he went on to become a board member with Linlithgow Rose for a period of time as well. So he's got a lot of experience within that, and that's something that I enjoy. The structure, the professionalism that he brings to the table. That's something I really enjoy, and I think is good for the team, not just for myself.
Yeah. Is there any other names that spring to mind when you think of role models?
Probably Greg Taylor as well. He's kind of the head of the para sport for Scotland Cerebral Palsy Football. He's somebody that kind of brought me in and kind of brought me through and helped me grow as a person, especially during COVID. Obviously we were separated, but he was always texting me or calling me, whatever it may be. And then probably lastly, my parents and the rest of my family, they kind of taught me to be resilient in whatever I do. Unfortunately, again, with my, like I said, the intricate movements, I still struggle to tie my shoelaces, do the small things, prepare meals, but they're always there to support me, whether my wee brothers like it or not, they're there. But mum and dad, again, are there to support me, whatever I do.
You are listening to the Top of the Scots podcast from the University of the West of Scotland.
Just talking about COVID there, how much of an effect did COVID have on your kind of sport and exploits?
Yeah, it was massive, you know. We spent a lot of time indoors, so it was really difficult to, and I mean, my wee brothers were considered, my mum and dad are both teachers, and also my wee brothers were at school, so it was quite difficult to, you know, like go and kick a ball during the day, you know, because they were still doing schoolwork, you know, and it was really difficult to find that motivation. And it took a long time for me to get back to where I wanted to be post-COVID, because of how inactive I was. And it was tough for the few months to get back to actually get that motivation, because it just wasn't a great time for any of us. You know, COVID was a long couple of years, so it was a difficult time for all of us.
Do you think what you learned prior through football and that kind of growth helped you in that time then?
Yeah, I only probably started to actually, it was kind of when I kind of got older, I really found what kind of helped me. I don't want to say I was young and naive, but I probably was, because I didn't really find the purpose within football, and that's kind of when I kind of stumbled a wee bit, and that's when my mum and my dad, like I said, my role models, kind of were there to help support me and realise that it's not just about playing football, you know, it's about sharing experiences with like-minded people. And Greg, at the time, Greg Taylor, he was there to support me as well, so that was a great time as well to kind of get back to where I wanted to be.
Absolutely. So obviously you've had quite a journey in football so far with some great achievements. Do you have a favourite moment that you can pinpoint?
It's a toss up between two actually. It was probably the first time I captained my country. I was against Japan at the 22 World Championships. It was just a great honour to put a captain's armband on. You know, me being a boy when I was so young, I was like, I'm never going to play for my country. You know, and then when that opportunity arose, I kind of grabbed it with two hands, and I made sure that this was something that I was going to take full advantage of and enjoy the moment as well. Or the second one would be probably the full-time whistle in the World Championships final. We kind of spoken in the morning about it and made sure that we were all going to stick to our same jobs and make sure that we all knew what we were doing. And we kind of just spoke through that process, and it was kind of I don't know why I felt a sense of relief, but I felt quite a bit of pressure going into it. You know, it was a World Championships final, but then just the excitement, and I was just so happy that actually we were able to do it. And like I said, it was the first time that a Scotland national team have actually won a tournament. You know, so.
Yeah. What were the celebrations like then after the win?
So I am probably the tamer ones in the team. So I didn't really. I celebrated at quite a thingy level, but yeah, it was good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It was a quiet plane on the journey home. So
I can imagine.
It was good.
So speaking about the future, where do you, Matthew Wynne, see yourself going forward?
Well, considering I'm on a UWS campus, I'd like to think I would be a PE teacher by the end of June. But then I would also like to think that I'll be able to captain my country at the Euros this year. It's something that I take great honour in, and hopefully we can actually continue with that great trajectory that we've had from our previous endeavours in the World Championships last year.
Do you think that if you did pursue that PE teacher career, you would have to kind of take a step away from football?
I would like to think not. But again, it's something that I would just need to assess when it comes to it. You know, thankfully that we spend our training days or training camps at the weekend, so I might take my uni work with me, or I might do a bit more uni work during the week, and then that allows me to kind of take some time off during the weekends and focus on the football. So I haven't had any crosshairs yet, but if it comes to it, then I would probably have a sit down with Billy and speak to him like, what can we do? But fingers crossed that conversation never happens.
That's been all, folks. I've been with Matthew Wynne. Thank you for tuning in to the Top of the Scots podcast, and thank you, Matthew, for joining me.
Thank you.
And I'll see you later, folks.